So now I'm going to skip to question 9. It says the average breath for humans at rest contains 0.76 liters of air. How many liters of air will you breathe while at rest for 25 minutes? So to understand the question, you need to make sure that you understand what they're asking. They're asking how many liters of air you will breathe, not how many breaths you will take in 25 minutes. Do you need any additional information? Well, I think you need to know how many breaths you're going to take in a minute, and we need to have a plan for how we're going to figure this out. What I did was I turned on a timer, set it for 60 seconds, and I literally counted the number of breaths, and you should do that because yours is going to be different from mine. My guess was that it would take me about 30, I thought it would be about 30 breaths, which of course is not the answer to the question, but I thought it would be about 30 breaths. That was my estimate for how many breaths I would take in a minute. So now we're going to solve, and you need to find the number of breaths that you're going to take in a minute. And my estimate was actually very off. I actually only took 14 breaths in a minute. And if I take 14 breaths in 1 minute, and then I multiply that by 25 minutes, I will get 350. And so that is not 350 breaths. It's 14 breaths for 25 minutes is going to give me how many breaths I will take in 25 minutes. So that's how many breaths, and of course that's not the answer either, because the question says the average breath takes 0.76 liters of air. So now what I have to say is each of those 350 breaths, I need to multiply that by 0.76, because that's how many liters of air I will take in. So now I need to do 350 times 0.76, and that gives me 266. So for me, it'd be 266 liters of air. Have I answered the question? The question said how many of liters of air will I breathe while at rest for 25 minutes? I have answered the question. And how did the answer compare to my estimate? Well, since my estimate was for 30 breaths and I actually only took 14 breaths, my estimate was pretty lousy. Now I'm going to go to question 10. And again, remember, you can do any 5 of these questions. I'm just choosing 5 that I would like to explain to you. You can do any ones you like. In a group of quarters and nickels, there are 4 more nickels than quarters. How many nickels and quarters are there if the coins are worth $2.30? So I have $2.30 worth of money. It's a combination of nickels and quarters, and I know that I have 4 more nickels than quarters. There are several plans you could do. You could do a chart like we did on the stamps question, and use trial and error that way, or you could use algebra, and I'm a math teacher, so I'm going to use algebra. So here's what I'm going to say. Q is going to represent the number of quarters, and I'm going to use N to represent the number of nickels. And then I know that the number of nickels is equal to 4 more than the number of quarters. That's the information that they gave me. So I know that if I take the value of each of my quarters, and each quarter is worth 25 cents, so the value is going to be 0.25 times the number of quarters, plus 0.05, that's each nickel, times the number of nickels, will give me the amount of money that I know I have here, which is $2.30. Well, I have 2 unknowns here, and I need to replace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say every nickel we know is, instead of nickels, I can replace it with 4 more than the number of quarters. So that's going to give me 0.25 Q plus 0.05, and instead of the number of nickels, I'm going to write the number of nickels is 4 more than the number of quarters, is equal to 2.30. That's what's called using the substitution method, if you think back to your Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 days. So this is going to be 0.25Q plus, now I'm going to distribute, 0.05 times 4 is 2, is 0.2 plus 0.05Q equals 2.30. And now I'm going to combine my like terms. This is supposed to be a Q. It doesn't look like a Q. Okay, now, so I'm going to add 0.25 plus 0.05 gives me 0.30 Q, number of quarters, plus 0.20 equals 2.30, and this is looking more familiar now. I'm going to subtract 0.20 and subtract 0.20, only I'm out of room, so I'm going to move up here. That's going to give me 0.30 times the number of quarters is equal to